Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Levi Long and Keta Wanati Diego from Phoenix Indian Center. And Phoenix Indian Center serves as a home away from home for the urban American Indian community by offering employment, educational, cultural enrichment, and community engagement services. I am so excited to have you both back on, or I know, Keta, you've never been on, but Levi has. So welcome to Native Talk Arizona. And before we get started, Keta, we'll start with you since you haven't been on. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Phoenix Indian Center.
Hope Bemisa na Kwatukwan na Tishis, Enriqueta Wanati Diego Mokmani Suwan na Tishis, Nawamigu na Miskwaki. So hello, my name is Enriqueta Wanati Diego, but everybody just calls me Keta for short. My Meskwaki name is Cloud Flying By Woman, and I come from the Meskwaki tribe in Tama, Iowa. I am a recent graduate from the University of Iowa, where I got my bachelor's in political science, and I'm currently at ASU getting my master's in legal studies. And I currently serve as the events and outreach coordinator at the Phoenix Indian Center. So I'm responsible for managing the coordination of most major Phoenix Indian Center events, as well as administering outreach events for the increased awareness of programs and services at the center.
Wow, I did not know you were from Iowa. It's quite a difference. Is this your first summer out here?
No, it's actually my second summer out here.
All right.
So I kind of know what to expect, but still definitely not ready for it.
Okay. Well, super excited to have you on Native Talk in Arizona and hear about what you're going to say. And so, Levi, I know you've been on before, so tell us what you do at Phoenix Indian Center and your background.
Yeah, hello everybody. Yat Levi Long Inisha, Mai Dishkijni Nishle, Dozat Aki Ani Bashashin, Sitna Jini Dashnala Do Torachini Dashache. Hello everybody. I'm the communications coordinator with the Phoenix Indian Center. Basically, my role is to oversee our communications outreach with the PIC. I've been there for over 3 years.
Wow, 3 years already?
Yep.
Time goes fast.
It did. Goes by really quickly, especially with a lot of the great events that we have coming up. So
you guys do like the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All right. So I know, Keta, can you tell us a little bit about Phoenix Indian Center and the various programs and what you all have to offer?
Yeah. So as the oldest American Indian nonprofit organization of its kind in the United States, we serve as the gateway for natives seeking assistance with job readiness, prevention, youth programs, and language and culture revitalization. Our doors are open to anybody from any tribal backgrounds and non-natives included. So we have 5 major program areas. We have our workforce development that helps provide individual tools from career coaching to trainings to help our relatives obtain employment. We also have our youth development program that focuses on high school youth and is centered around college, career, culture, and prevention. Our prevention program is here to keep our urban Native relatives safe by providing culturally responsive resources on topics including the prevention of suicide, underage drinking, and drug use and abuse. Their motto is Culture is Prevention, and they offer several programs to help support the urban Native community. We also have our civic engagement program that is here to help with voter registration and keeping our community updated and educated on local, regional, and national issues that can impact our Native community. And last but definitely not least, we have our language and culture program that supports the importance of ensuring the revitalization of our languages and ensuring that our culture and traditions continue to pass on to the next generation.
Oh my gosh, you guys do so much. We just did an interview right before you all walked in on talking about the American Indian Language and Revitalization Program out of U of A and talking about their upcoming workshop in June and July. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Question for you. Okay, so I guess I'll throw this one at you, Levi. So do you have any events and workshops coming up? I know you do. So what's coming up?
Yeah, so our big one coming up to kick off June and in correlation with Pride Month is our annual Rainbow Gathering. So that's happening on June 12th. So our Rainbow Gathering is our annual one-day conference where we center speakers, resources, outreach around our Two-Spirit LGBTQIA community. Again, we are having that at South Mountain Community College at the Student Union Conference Center. Registration is free for the event. So if you go to our website at phoenixinCenter.org, community engagements, Rainbow Gathering, you'll be able to register for the event. Our event is going to start about 9 a.m. and end about 3. And it's definitely going to be a really great time for our community to come together along with our allies and community resource groups. So definitely we are anticipating a pretty big event this year.
So the full name is the Southwest American Indian Rainbow Gathering, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So do you have any performances or anything like that going on?
Yes. So our chair, Navi Ho, who also goes by Eddie George, they are serving as our MC, and they also are planning to bring together cultural performances and I believe a talent show that's going to happen during lunch. So hopefully we'll be able to see some musical performances and some dance performances there at the event.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
They do such a great job. Okay, so do you have speakers also that day?
We do, yep. So our keynote speaker, I'm really excited to announce it's actually going to be Dr. Charlie Amaya Scott. So Dr. Scott is the Dene Scholar from Navajo Nation. She focuses a lot of her scholarship on just causes, really kind of focusing on education that supports the next generation of queer, trans, and Indigenous youth. She focuses a lot on resilience and power, and really celebrates what it means to be Dene as well. We also will have other panelists that will talk about Two-Spirit health in North America. We have another topic that's going to focus on cultural approaches to body image and wellness in Two-Spirit communities. And then we also will have a really interesting presentation from elders in the community who will talk about the history of the term Two-Spirit, where it came from. So our speakers for that event were actually at the first conference where the Two-Spirit name was born. So they're going to talk a little bit more about that experience.
And who's going to speak about that?
Curtis Davila. So Curtis has been a part of PIC events in the past. He served as a panelist last year. So really excited to bring him back for this year's event.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I know the event just keeps growing and growing every single year.
Yep.
How did the Southwest American Indian Rainbow Gathering get its start? What was like kind of the impetus to get it started?
Yeah, so it actually got started in 2011 by Trudy Jackson. Trudy is Navajo. She's an advocate for Two-Spirit community issues. She now works at Mayo Health and has been serving as an advisor for various issues in the community and also for this year's event. So she is the one who actually brought the idea together, and over the last few years, PIC has taken on the hosting duties and organizing duties for the event. So that's really like where the history started. Trudy also founded the awards that are a part of the gathering. So during the event, we're also going to have a ceremony for our Dreamcatcher Award winner, as well as our Basket Award winner.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've known Trudy. I've been at Native Health almost 20 years. And Trudy was one of the very first employees that I met. She used to work here.
Oh, awesome.
So I've known her a very long time. Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I kind of watched her do all of her different places and things that she's done. So I know, Levi, you just mentioned, or Ken, I'm not sure who wants to answer this. I'm sure you can't tell me who wins, but what's the difference, or what is the Dreamcatcher and the Basket Awards?
Yeah, I can talk to that, and actually I can name our winners. So again, Dreamcatcher Award, that's really meant for somebody who identifies as American Indian from the Two-Spirit community and has demonstrated a commitment to serving and uplifting the community. And this year, our winner is Rita De Mornay. So Rita is the current Miss Phoenix Pride, I believe the first Indigenous crown holder for that title. Rita is really active in the community, helping to raise money for various causes, and is really there to help embody the resilience, love, and leadership in the community. And really, I think that key word there is uplifting the community. So she was chosen at a lot of really great submissions that we had this year. But yeah, Rita is going to be there. Receiving the Dreamcatcher Award. The second award is going to be for the Basket Award. And we're really excited to announce that Tara Begay, who is a family nurse practitioner here in Phoenix, will be receiving that award. Again, that award is really set up for an ally or an organization or a person really who is supporting the Two-Spirit community and has shown that support through programming services. So through Tara's work, which spans over 20 years, she serves a lot of underserved populations, also focuses on HIV care, inclusive care, health education for transgender and gender diverse patient populations, as well as hormone therapy monitoring. So we're really excited that Tara will be there to accept the award as well.
Wow. Two very deserving individuals that deserve these awards, and it sounds like you had a lot of good nominations too.
We did. Yep, it was really awesome. So yeah, definitely encourage everybody to come out, support our winners, support our panelists, support our community. And again, the event is on Thursday, June 12th, and registration is available on our website.
Okay, so I want to back up a little bit. So it's Thursday, June 12th, South Mountain Community College, right?
Correct.
Okay, and you said, where is it at South Mountain?
Yep, it's 7050 South 24th Street. So that's on 24th Street, just north of Baseline.
Okay.
There's free parking, and there's also some public transit nearby as well to get to the event.
And where is it on the campus? Is it like the Memorial Union or whatever student union?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Student Union Conference Center. I forgot to that as part of that event. There's going to be a light breakfast and also lunch that will be served by a Hopi-owned bakery that is based in Glendale.
And which bakery is that?
Blue Corn Cafe and Bakery. So they're going to
cool.
serve some really amazing food items there.
Okay, so is there a cost to this?
Nope, completely free.
Okay, open to anybody? Anybody's welcome to attend?
Everybody's welcome as long as you register.
Okay, so you want people to register in
Yes.
advance, just I assume, so you have enough food and planning and,
Yeah.
and chairs and things like that.
Yep.
Okay, when does registration close? Can you register like right up until the date?
Yeah, you can register right until the day of the event.
Okay, cool. So it starts at 9 o'clock, Thursday, June 12th. So Levi, do you have any sponsors for the event?
We do. So I want to give some shout outs to our premier sponsor, City of Phoenix, through the Fast Track Cities grant. They are providing $5,000 in donations. Desert Diamond Casino is also coming in as our yellow sponsor at $2,500. And we also have Molina Healthcare that is coming in as our blue sponsor as well. So again, we just want to thank all of the organizations and especially our sponsors for helping us fund our event and put this on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We work with those as well, not with the city, but the way you do, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Molina is great, and Desert Diamond, great supporters.
We also just want to shout out Ethan Sosi, one of the other co-leads of the event.
Yes, Ethan's been doing a great job getting everything organized. So again, thank you, Ethan. Huge props.
Okay, and I've got another question for Keta. So how can our listeners find more information about the Southwest American Indian Rainbow Gathering? How can they register for the event? Can this be on site or does it have to be pre-registered? And how can they contact you?
Yeah, so for all of our events and workshops and everything, you can always just look to our social medias. But for this event specifically, you can go to phxindcenter.org. It should be one of the first things that pop up, the Rainbow Gathering. You can register on our website, and you can also register day of. And you can email me with any questions at ewanati-diego@phxindcenter.org.
And I know they can also call you, right? At 602-264-6768.
Yep, and just ask for Keta, Enriqueta, the Events and Outreach Coordinator, anything, and they'll get it to me.
You
for
guys
questions.
just do the best job.
Thank
I
you.
just I love Phoenix Indian Center, and I'm so glad you're next door.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan. And thank you to Native Health for also being there at our event.
Yeah, we're super excited. I know we're going to be providing some STI testing and in our mobile unit, so we're excited to be there.
Yes, we look forward to it.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, Keely Birdtail will tell us about the Mist One Society. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and on the phone with us today, we have the founder and president of Mist One Society, Keely Birdtail. Keely, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Osio tohiju osasanali iga deyon e dagwado. Hello, I am Keely Birdtail. My Cherokee name is Iga deyon e, which means the day is coming. My grandmother named me after the first thing she saw. Traditionally, good thing I had a good vision there. It means the day is coming.
That's awesome. What is the Mist One Society?
Mist One Society actually means MIST is Missing Indigenous Stolen Sisters Ending Division. One Nation, Everywhere Society.
So why did you start this? I mean, what inspired you to start Mist One Society?
My inspiration actually came from when I mentored Native American youth. A few years ago, I did juvenile detention centers and different centers. I would mentor the young juvenile indigenous ladies, and I would take in my sewing machine and beadwork and teach them how to do ribbon work and do peyote stitch, to teach them that there's other things they can do besides go down the wrong path, that they could actually make money at. And I absolutely loved watching them learn. And I have a story about one of them later on in this interview that actually inspired me even more. I wanted, as the crisis of the MMIW and MMIP, MIC grew, I knew there had to be an avenue I could help that was different without stepping on toes of different advocates that's been there on the front line. And so we really wanted to focus on helping the families and the children left behind and give them the support and help they needed.
It sounds like the work that you're doing is so important and why you were inspired to start it. But why do you think the Mist One Society is important?
Just spreading awareness. There's so many people that are unaware that it's all tribes. It's not just a couple of tribes, and the severity of it, the youth, the children, the women that go missing, and everything that's happened in this past year has opened a lot of eyes. But we want to get out there and educate people that are unaware of the crisis. I believe in the way I was taught traditionally, because I was raised very traditional. And they always said, if you're doing the right things with the goodness of your heart, everything will align and show you your path. And I want to teach that to people. I want to show them that, our Native culture is beautiful, no matter what tribe it is. It's beautiful and it's worth preserving. And it's so important for us to preserve and protect our children and our women for our future. I still am very traditional, and I want to do it as respectfully as I possibly can, but we are providing assistance through outreach programs, counseling, such as grievance counseling, life coaching, where you will be providing prevention methods and education scholarships for the youth. So it's very important to get this out to let them know that the support is there and that these families are not pushed to the wayside, that we are still fighting for them.
It is so important. So I know some of the work that you do, but I'm going to let you tell our listeners, what are some of the ways that Missed One Society helps and support families whose loved ones are missing? What kind of activities or what all do you do?
Like I said before, we just started this in November of last year, and we did not even start anything fundraising or planning until after January of this year. So we have grown leaps and bounds very quickly, and we are still under a lot of contract negotiations with different health facilities. We are going to be providing safe houses, not only for women, but for runaways to go to somewhere safe and get the help they need. That is starting with a few places over on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, and they are the Harbor House Inc. with Matthew Stevens and the Lotus Recovery House with Nikki Kay. We're starting those little areas for that area, and we're going to start progressing west with different agencies like themselves to provide safe houses. We're also going to be providing life coaching and grievance counseling, where we will have a certified person that you can get in contact through us that can orchestrate getting the families those things they need through counseling in their areas. We also are going to be doing prevention seminars and events for fingerprinting for children and safety and precaution things for parents and for women. Prevention is probably one of the biggest things that we need to teach, how to protect yourself, what to look out for, how to identify if something's going on with your children. I know when I was a child, I don't know if y'all are old enough or not, but I remember at 10 o'clock news every night, the news would come on, it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are? And that just always rings really clear for me right now, do you know where your children are? We have to protect our children. We have to protect them, and it starts with one person that leads to another. One person can make a difference.
That is true. It only takes one person to change the world, and look what you're doing. So I know that you're going to be out in Arizona coming up. What are you planning to do out in Arizona?
Well, I am already in Arizona. I am in Winslow. I rode my bike from Indiana all the way across. I have a funny story about this, but my first event was in Arkansas, and I had advertised, and the people around there had advertised this benefit, and I was messaged by a member of a Tennessee chapter of Red Rum asking if I needed escort because they knew I was doing it alone. I said, yes, I actually would, but I wasn't going to Tennessee. So the next thing I know, he got me in contact with an Oklahoma president of Red Rum, and he wasn't going to be in the area. So then they got me in contact with the Bikers for the Republic Riding Club, and they actually met me halfway from Arkansas border to Oklahoma City and rode me all the way to the Texas border. And then they delivered me to the Amarillo chapter of Red Rum. They escorted me all the way to Albuquerque, where I got in contact with Christopher Dossala, and he has been so helpful. And
he is awesome.
I told him he is a very awesome person. I cannot express my gratitude for this man ever. It's just unbelievable what he has done for me. But with that, he couldn't meet me, but he said he's just a phone call away. So I rode myself from Albuquerque to Winslow, and I was fully prepared to do this ride by myself and alone. But it's been such a blessing not to have to. And they're already orchestrating. The Red Rum Motorcycle Club has already been helping me network for next year's big ride, where I will be traveling from Indiana all the way back out to Winslow. So maybe this time next year we have something really big to tell you guys. And then I'm going out to West Coast. I'll be out there. Then I'm getting escorted all the way up to Washington and Montana, all the way across, zigzagging through the reservations, because I have multiple interviews with not only advocates but families of the missing for YouTube episodes that we will start airing in next summer. And then I'm going all the way to the East Coast on my bike, and then I am due in Tennessee next year, the third week of Tennessee, to ride the Trail of Tears Remembrance Ride back to Oklahoma, where we're going to have a big rally for a welcome home. So I've got a lot planned, but this year, right now, I am getting ready to attend the Hogs and Heat Motorcycle Rally in Winslow, Arizona. That starts on the 5th, where we are doing an honor ride to the Emily Pike Apache Strong Tower, where we'll meet up with Chris and his chapter to escort us onto the reservation and to the tower. Then we'll be leaving Winslow at 7 a.m. and riding to the tower. And then on the 7th, we have Hogs and Heat is presenting us a benefit poker run that starts at 2 p.m. and we will do a poker run, and all the money that we raise will go towards our scholarship program. Plus, we'll have a benefit auction at 6 p.m. on Saturday the 7th as well. After that, then I'm scheduled in Kentucky at the Hog Rock Motorcycle Rally in Cave Rock, Illinois, and then I am headed to this is all in June. I have a place to go in every weekend to set up awareness booths and fundraisers, and then on the June 20th and 21st, I'll be at CC Power Sports in Clarksville, Indiana, and that's just June.
Wow, you are busy. So I want to go back and ask you a couple quick things. One, what kind of motorcycle do you ride?
I ride a 2023 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse.
And that's not a Harley, or is that a Harley?
It's an Indian Chieftain Dark Horse.
Sorry, I don't know anything about motorcycles, so okay.
Yeah, the brand is Indian.
Okay.
And they are one of my sponsors. They they sponsor me, and I am going to be going into the ambassadorship of Indian motorcycles.
Cool. Okay. All right. And then my other question is, so on these rides, like the one that you're going to be doing for the Emily Pike, is that open to anybody to join, or do you have to register, or is it just a closed event?
No, it's not a closed event. And like I said, we are meeting. You can find all the information on www.hogsandheat.com. There is a flyer there. We will be leaving at 7 a.m. If you ride, you can ride with us down to the tower. And if you want to join the poker run, you do have to register for that and get there a little early to register. We will have blessings of the bikes also that morning on the 7th. On the 7th, we'll have the blessings of the bike before the poker run. Anyone is welcome to join that's over 21. The motorcycle rallies are usually 21 and over, but like any of the awareness events at dealerships and different events like that, anyone can attend.
Okay, let's go back. Can you tell me that website again where all this information is?
www.hogsandheat.com. That is the rally here in Winslow that starts on the 5th.
Okay. And then now, if somebody wants to find out more, or either contact you or find out more about Missed One Society, how would they do that?
Missed One Society Inc. on Facebook and on TikTok our website is www.miss1societyinc.com.
Okay. And then they can just, like, there's a contact button on there or something they could reach you,
Yes.
right? Okay. Awesome.
Yes. And as we grow, as we get all the details of our sponsorships and the safe houses and the counseling and everything, we will put everything they need to know on there. Like I said, we just started this. We are still ironing out all the details, and once they get up, they'll be on our website. And I am going to put this out there. If anyone has a candidate for a scholarship of this year that is affected by the MMIW, please get them in contact with us, because we are looking to give away our first scholarship this year.
All right. So Missed One Society Inc. on Facebook or website. And then Keely, I so wish you best and safe travels. I know that what you're going to be doing for Emily Pike is amazing, and all the work that you do. And I can't wait to have you back in a year and see what you've accomplished on your next ride to Winslow in a year. So safe travels.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys so much.
Up next, Susan Levy chats with Dr. Sheila Nichols and Sherilyn Anala about the American Indian Language Development Institute. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Dr. Sheila Nichols, Professor of American Indian Studies from University of Arizona, and also Sherilyn Anaya, Director of Tribal Education for Gila River Indian Community. So welcome, Dr. Sheila Nichols and Sherilyn, to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, before we get started, let's start with you, Dr. Nichols. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey?
I'm from the Sun Forehead clan from the Hopi community located in the Black Mesa region of northern Arizona. I have been involved in this journey as an adult, realizing my own history of language shift, and spent most of my journey relearning the language, and that has gotten me very much involved in this field of Indigenous language revitalization.
Okay, and Sherilyn, how about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Hi, so I'm Sherilyn, and I'm from the Gila River Indian community and the Pueblo of Laguna, and I'm the mother of 3 children, and I have one bonus daughter, and I grew up in both of my communities, and I've always noticed that there was a big contrast in language use between Laguna and Gila River, which has gotten me really interested in language from the time I was really young. So I was always curious to figure out why that was. And then after graduate school and having my first son, I ended up teaching preschool in the Head Start program in my own community at Gila River, and I was lucky enough to enroll my first son in the program, and that doesn't happen very often for staff kids and for children who have parents who are over income. So I was really fortunate to be able to have that blessing. I always say it's a blessing to have him, to be able to have my son with me during those times. And then I ended up having another son, and I was able to get him into the program as an infant. So I was able to have my youngest boy with me in the program, and then he eventually ended up in my preschool classroom along with two of my nieces for their last year of Head Start. And I would say that that was such a precious time for me to spend with my kids, because not only did I get to have them in my classroom as their mom and as their aunt, but I was also able to see them as learners and spend that whole year with them in a very different context from how it would have been had I not been their teacher. So that's, kind of my journey as a mother, as a scholar, and as a teacher, which brings us up to where we are now with this, workshop and some of the reasons for why I do the work that I do.
Well, and it's so important to have kids children their whole lives with their parents and their moms, but especially during those formative years and with language. So pretty exciting that you got to share that with them. So what is the American Indian Language Development Institute? Where is it housed at University of Arizona?
The American Indian Language Development Institute was established in 1978. And for all this time, 50 years, coming up to 50 years, it has moved around, but it was permanently settled at the University of Arizona, particularly housed in the College of Education. But within the last year, it has been physically moved over to the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. That said, the American Indian Language Development Institute, we refer to as ALDI, received an inaugural federal grant in 2023 to establish the West Regional Native American Language Resource Center. And currently I am the director of that center, and it is physically housed in the College of Education. So now this language work is ongoing in two colleges at the University of Arizona. And for those 50 years, the ALDI has been providing and bringing together community practitioners, students in Indigenous languages and Indigenous language revitalization, and faculty together at the University of Arizona to work on the field of Indigenous language revitalization in both linguistic and more practical approaches to do the work back in their communities.
I know you've got a conference coming up, which is what we're going to talk about, or the workshop, but can anybody take these classes? Are they in person or online? And is this open to anybody, or do you have to be enrolled in University of Arizona? And or if somebody was just interested in taking like one or two classes, who's it available to?
First of all, to clarify, the ALDI is a summer institute. So it is held for 1 month during the month of June, and this year, June 9th to July 10th, and offers a range of courses for anyone, both students and non-degree seeking attendees, to take the courses. Yes, there is the process of having to register into the system of the university. It requires you to have residency for that month to attend the classes. They are offered both in person and hybrid. So it is open to everyone, and it has been attended historically from students internationally, nationally, and locally, and from all tribal communities. So it is open to everyone.
That's pretty cool. Now, is there a cost for this?
Yes, there is a cost, and I do want to also clarify it. It isn't a conference, it is an institute. So it is for a set schedule, and it is on a daily basis for the duration of the time period that I mentioned, from June 9th to July 10th.
And how many people attend this typically? Or how many slots are available?
Historically, we have worked with over 100 students who come for the month. As we moved along, a lot of the experience that students and others have had at the ALDI, they have instituted their own institutes in their areas. So that has kind of affected the number of people that come, because now they're staying in their own regions to do this work as well and attend coursework, summer programs in various durations. So our numbers have been a lot lower than those earlier dates, but we also have an enrollment through online classes, so that also balances it out as well. So our numbers are not as large as they previously have been, but the interest is still there, so the courses are still well attended.
That's pretty awesome. I want to ask you both, why is learning your language and culture in early childhood so important versus maybe later on in your life? Is it really important to instill that in children when they're young and to introduce them to this?
For me, early childhood is a crucial period for children to be nurtured with their own language and culture in the traditional context. In this context, it was about raising culturally distinct people from conception to and throughout one's lifespan. So, for example, using the Hopi context, the curriculum or way of life was through both secular and ceremonial cycles. But in the contemporary Indigenous context and community, we are also navigating the Western life cycle that has essentially both enhanced as well as challenged the Indigenous cultural and linguistic lifeway. So that has been the reason why now we are moving into early childhood programs in a Western sense, I would say, meaning formal spaces.
Yes, I agree with Sheila. It is a prime time, such a crucial time for children and families to begin to instill the aspects of our Indigenous identities in our children. But it's also, and I think that people believe that it's the easiest in early childhood because the children are so young, but also it's because kids don't really have any hindrances about learning language, meaning that they're not afraid to make mistakes or to try new words, right? But it's also a time, from what I've seen being in the classroom, is that's when parents are really eager and optimistic and want to try their best to also learn the language along with their little ones. You know, when you have you're a new parent and you want the best for your child, you're really willing at that time to go to the mat, go to the longest lengths to do whatever it is that you can to instill the best and make sure that you try your hardest to have really positive outcomes for your child. And usually in early childhood, that's when you see parents really wanting to do as much as they can for their children. And it's also such a crucial stage to learn, because that's also when their brains are growing so rapidly from that time frame of birth to 5, 6 years old.
So I want to talk again about the upcoming workshop. So the planning and cultivating the next generation of language speakers and users, Indigenous early childhood and language revitalization. I know you're both very involved with the workshop. What are some of the topics that you're going to be discussing during that?
So the workshop is geared toward Indigenous early education practitioners who want to learn more about language learning and teaching, and about how they can create the environments and conditions in their settings to grow their Indigenous languages. And some of the things that we're going to focus on are general language acquisition, how is language learned, and what are some of the applied approaches happening in the community. So, for example, we have a presenter out of the Thana'atham Community College who has been working with Head Start programs in the Thana'atham Nation, and they're working with immersion strategies. So they'll provide what they're doing with their Head Start teachers in that community. So that's one example. And then we also have another speaker coming out to talk about what should communities think of and consider when they're planning for language revitalization with this specific population of very little ones of early childhood, working with birth through 5 years old. And there's just a lot of things to consider in those contexts when their environments are very different in those settings when you're in Head Start or childcare versus being in a K-12 environment.
So if people can't get in or they can't make the summer session, are there other opportunities for them to learn about early childhood language immersion and programs? Or is it just this once a year in the summer? Is that the only opportunity, or what do you suggest for people?
One of the things that has been our goal for the West Regional Center is to determine the needs and identify how the center can provide support and encourage these kind of work to continue and provide the service to them in terms of workshops or other kinds of ways that can support their work in the communities. So that's been a primary goal of the center. So the center is now in year 2 of its grant, and we are just now embarking on actually realizing some of the ways that we can provide services. So the workshop that we're discussing today is one of those ways, and the Aldi Institute provided the venue to do this within the Summer Institute. But we have plans to continue building on this. It is an ongoing planning process, and it's also including connecting with tribal communities to see who those are. In particular, we're focusing on the 4 states in the western region, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and California, which encompasses many, many language efforts ongoing. But it won't be limited just to the summer. It will be ongoing throughout the years.
Do you have any advice for listeners who want to learn more about their traditional language and want to know more about their culture? So if they're not educators and are not able to attend any of the workshops that you've got or classes, do you have any suggestions? And some of our listeners live very far away. What would you suggest if they wanted to learn more? Would it be talking to their elders or their community members? Or if they're in an urban setting and they don't really have that support system, what would you each suggest?
What we see on our end is people contacting their resources that they have back in their community. So say like you're living in an urban setting, reaching back out to the community that you're from to see what kind of resources they may have online, or if they have any, say, recordings or books or something that they can offer you, any virtual classes that you could participate in, because I know that there are a lot of tribes that do offer web-based virtual language classes.
You know, I attend some of the community meetings in Phoenix, and I do know, like the Choctaw Nation, they were doing a bunch of things online and doing, I don't know if they were daily classes, but I know they were weekly, and people could follow along, join, and obviously free and follow along and things like that. Did you have anything, Dr. Nicholas, that you wanted to add? If somebody lives far away, would it be the same advice, or do you have anything else?
That is a very challenging question because of the opportunities to learn the language, like in classes formally and others, they're just emerging. And often sustainability is another challenge for those programs. But bottom line, in my experience, when I was relearning my language, it was really about me engaging with the language in ways that I thought would work. I had the advantage, though, of having my parents and older generations of people still available as resources to me. But that often can be pretty challenging, too, in trying to work with them to help you learn the language, because I think they're shocked that you don't speak the language. I think it's just a shocking thing for all generations. So a lot of mine was just to engage in whatever way I could with the language, doing projects, bringing back memories of words that I knew. Singing songs is one of the strongest ways to do it. But just, I would say, establishing a relationship with your language in whatever way you can. It's really about a personal quest, because it is a major commitment to the language to do this as well. It's not an easy journey, oftentimes solo.
I think those are good suggestions, though, for people that are really interested in wanting to do that and learn. And, you know, you don't want any of these languages and any traditions or culture to get lost and being handed down. And I think at least if people take a baby step and try to reach out and try to learn, it's something is better than nothing, right?
Right. And it's important not to feel bad. There's strength in trying to learn.
Yep. So we don't have a ton of time left. How can listeners find more information about the upcoming workshop, Planting and Cultivating the Next Generation of Language Speakers and Users, the Indigenous Early Childhood and Language Revitalization Workshop, and how can they contact you both?
Listeners can access more information about the workshop itself, including the registration process, and contact who is our program manager, Dr. Adrian Saikiwa, at the American Indian Language Development Institute website. And the website link is aildi.arizona.edu. All that information is accessible there.
Okay, and then if they wanted to contact you, they could do that through that as well?
Yes.
Okay, and Sherilyn, how about you? If people wanted to reach out to you, are they able to do that? Or would that be through Aldi as well?
You can find me on the Gila River Indian Community's Tribal Education Department website. And that is gricted.com, gricted.com, under Sherilyn Anaya.
Awesome. Well, I cannot thank you both, Dr. Nicholas and Sherilyn, for coming on, telling us how important language and culture and revitalization, starting with the littles and learning and teaching. So thank you so much for your time. And I know the workshop this year will be amazing. And I've heard great things, and I encourage people to check it out. So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentokrdp.com.